Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the August 1st mini healing. For those of you who have been here before, sometimes I have audio issues, which from my end, everything looks good. So let me know if you can hear me. And it looks like I finally got the chat to show up on the screen. Currently, we have people from YouTube and Facebook. And typically, Facebook people can only see Facebook and YouTube can only see YouTube, but it does link up on the main screen if you can watch that. Oh, good, you can hear me. Fabulous. Well, welcome everybody. So I'm surprised to see so many people here on a Friday night, but that's pretty cool. So thank you for coming. If this is your first time watching me for mini healings, we'll do a mix of individual healing and group healing. If you are comfortable, I'll ask to put an issue in chat that you want to work on, and I'll look for a trapped emotion that is playing a role. Oftentimes, trapped emotions can cause a lot of things. Oftentimes, though, there usually is more than one trapped emotion. So tonight, I'm going to try and help as many people as possible. And so we will work on releasing one trapped emotion for each person that puts something in the comments. We will do 3 healing pulses. Healing pulses go to where we direct the energy, and they can be quite magical. But know that they focus on the problem at hand. So if it's pain, if it's emotion, it will focus on that. If there's energy left over, then it will attempt to also heal the underlying issue. Oftentimes there is not enough energy for both. But especially if you're in pain, it's nice if it works for you to help take the edge off. But just know not everything works for everyone. Someday I hope to play a bigger role in being able to help everyone. But part of that is not my journey, but yours. So I've got a few people that have started putting things in comments. And so in about 3 minutes, we will start with our first healing pulse. So I'm going to just go back to the beginning and just make sure I didn't miss anyone, although occasionally my human side shows and I do miss someone. So if that happens, please put something in the comments again. Okay, it looks like LMB is my first person, and they are having issues with knees and, oh, my screen jumped. Knees and cramping in calves. So what I do for each session is I write down it in my little book here. Today is show number 179. Okay, Amanda, remove fear. That is a good one to do. So many just horrible things. Just can't believe all the shootings all over. That's just crazy. Nancy's got some shoulder pain. So Nancy, when we do the healing pulse, I'm going to suggest that you focus on the shoulder that you've got issues with. Harmonious, be financially secured through a good job. That is a nice one. Financially secure with good job. All right, Serene Mila wants to bring healing to her body. Susan, yes, welcome. Glad you're here. So if Ephatha, welcome. That's like 3 months in a row or 3 sessions in a row. That's pretty cool. So NA Tarot, headaches. So I'll put you down. So with the headaches and the healing pulse, I'm going to suggest NA Tarot that you use the healing pulse energy. All right, so Pearl. That is my niece's name. Beautiful name. So Pearl, you've got rash, but I'm not sure what SLIN, SLIN. Oh, neuropathy. Okay. So what I'll do is, typically we just work on one issue per person, but I will put both down and we will see what the universe wants you to work on. Oh, Colette, that is tough. So Colette wants to work on nausea, sinus headaches, due to mold at home. That's a horrible thing. Okay. Oh, wow. That's a really good thing to be grateful for, Ephatha. Wow. Very nice. So we're going to put that in. All right, Susan. Neck, shoulder pain, right side. Pearl. So you've got a few things going on. So that's your third one. We'll see what comes up, what the universe wants to work on first. Angel Knight, you are perfectly fine. Oh, there's Marina. Welcome, Marina. We are just starting. I'm just going through comments and making sure that everybody. Angel Knight, we're going to put stress. That's too bad, Angel Knight, because. And then Jeffrey, sinus stuff. So where I'm at, there is a lot of smoke from the Canadian fires because I'm not too far from the Canadian border. And they're suggesting that people stay in their homes because the air quality is so bad. Okay, Pearl, skin. So that's not Slin. I just wasn't sure what that was. Okay, I think I'm getting to the end of the list. Jeffrey, sinus. Oh, and Lisa's from Alberta. Welcome. Got mainly people from the US. Marina's from Croatia, so it's middle of the night for her. A few Canadians. Okay. LMB. I'm going to root a little bit more. Mainly right side. Okay. Sometimes that's good to know. Oh, and there's Sissy. You are exactly the right place, Sissy. All right, so Lisa. Chronic fatigue, pain in musculoskeletal system. I'm just going to shorten that up. Sissy, I can't see your, or no, I can see your text, yes. Ooh, LMB's from Canada too. All right, I think I got everybody. Oh, there's Marina. I've got to add one more. Okay, so Marina, stomach issues. All right, so we're going to start with the healing pulse. So any of you that have listed physical issues like knees, calves, shoulder pain, healing the body, headaches, rashes, shoulder pain, sinus stuff, stomach issues, that's where I want you to direct your pain or issue. Wherever your physical issue is, that's where I want you to direct your energy. Now, if you've got something else that's more emotional, like Afatha wants to focus on gratitude, where does gratitude come from? I know for me, it often comes from my heart. So think about if you want to expand something, especially an emotional something, where does it live? And then let me see. Harmonious wants to secure a really good job. So where does that will to find this really good job live within you, Harmonious? Because that's where you're going to want to send the energy. All right, so with this, I want you to rub your hands together. This is called the Healing Pulse. It is my own particular tool and modality. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Now, if you don't really have anything you want to work on specifically with this, I often suggest sending it to your head or your heart. And place your hands right there where you want. And then imagine my hands on yours. So you are receiving not only your own healing energies, but mine too. And so the most important part, because I'm starting to send the energy, is just be open and allowing the energy to flow. And so with each breath in, imagine the healing going a little deeper, a little further. With each breath out, you are releasing. And it could be you're releasing something that doesn't belong. Maybe you're releasing something that you're done with. Maybe you're just releasing something that isn't even yours. So just imagine breathing in and allowing, and breathing out and release. Now, if you are one that enjoys breath work and have benefited from that, this is the perfect time to do breath work. Sometimes I suggest people do the box breath just because it's easy with this. So just breathe that in, allow. And so I hope all of you experience something with this, but just with law of averages, there will be some that won't. And that's just how it is. Not everything helps everyone, like traditional medicine. I know when I first started dealing with energy, it was rare for me to feel things. And I just kept going with it and trusting and allowing. So just breathe that in. Okay, so that was our first healing pulse. For most people, the second and third pulses are usually stronger than the first. So let me know how you did, if you have any questions, and then I'm going to start. So my first three people on my list are LMB, Amanda, and Nancy. And I just need to check one thing with Amanda because looks like I started writing and didn't finish. So let me just find your post. Oh, remove fear was for Amanda. Okay. Wonderful, Sissy. So Sissy says she's yawning a lot. If you find that you're yawning a lot during a session with me, or if you do Reiki or other types of work, a yawn is often a sign that you are experiencing the energy, and a yawn will release energy and create more room for the healing. So it's a fabulous thing to experience. And as you know, yawns aren't really something you can control. So I'm going to use, so I've got a few different lists. My probably favorite list has about 400 negative trapped emotions. And sometimes it doesn't always make sense, but I've learned to just trust what comes up. So LMB, we're looking at knees and cramping on the calves on the right side. Oh, excuse me here. Little Dexter's deciding he's going to hang out. So let's just see. So sometimes when you've got two things that are right next to each other, sometimes I see if we're supposed to focus on one or both. And so with LMB, we're going to focus on both. Oh, Elfatha wrote something pretty cool. So she, light language. So light language for some people is sort of a sing-songy, auditory kind of thing. Some people do art as light language. It's very cool. I've got one of my clients that when I'm working on her, she just lets it out, and it's always amazing and cool. Oh, and there's Amy. Welcome, Amy. If you want to get in the list, just go ahead and put something in the comments. All right, so let's see. And so generally I'll get an emotion and then I'll try and get an age. Ages are one of the hardest things. Usually I've been pretty accurate lately, plus or minus a year, but ages aren't always critical. All right, LMB, I'm getting the word melancholy. Let me get an age. So I'm getting 13. So, oh, hold on. Dexter and Duncan, come here. Dexter's afraid that Duncan is going to stand on him. So this is Duncan, my little dude. All right, so melancholy around age 13 LMB. And typically, so I said plus or minus a year, so 12, 13, 14. And especially that age. And kids can be really tough. And sometimes families can be tough. So sometimes it's a very specific event. Sometimes it's a period of events. So let's go ahead and release melancholy. So I know a number of you here visiting tonight are healers. I always ask for your help. It used to be that I would just release and remove the trapped emotion, but especially with some of my regular clients, after a while, I noticed with them there was some residual energy that added up. And so I realized that it was much more effective if we both released and removed. And so if you don't have healing in your background, if you pray or set an intention or just make a wish that this releases, oh wow, LMB, I'm so sorry. There's still some energy of that time frame that you were just So sad. So let's just tune in and release and remove the trapped emotion. It doesn't take away the validity of what you felt during that time, but it takes away the emotion that was not processed. Because typically we process an emotion and we release it. But sometimes, especially when there's a traumatic event, we hang on to it. And that part of the body, wherever that is, doesn't function as well. So let's go ahead and release that energy of melancholy. Okay, I'm getting that released. And so Amanda's next. She wants to work on removing fear. And I think we worked on that before, didn't we, Amanda? Or something similar. Yeah. June 1st, 6 layers we released. May 1st. We removed some there too. So, because we've been working on this for a while now, Amanda, I want to work on, I'm going to change up the wording a little bit. And so I think we should work on anything that is holding fear within you, because we've released quite a few layers of fear. Let's remove the supports. And so sometimes supports, even though you've thought you've released things, sometimes the supports keep it there. So I'm going to put, we're going to find the negative support. And so maybe this will be the next thing we work on for the next couple months, and then we should check in on fear. So let's see, I'm going to work on finding a support for Amanda, and then I've got Nancy and Harmonious next. All right, it's the word unimportant, Amanda. Wow, LMB. That's really good insight. I'm hoping this really helps you. And so usually after I release something, especially if it's a physical thing, I would suggest taking a little walk around your room and seeing if the release has sort of taken the edge off. Unimportant, Amanda, I'm getting around age 26, so 25, 26, 27. And with this, with the supports, I want to go with the main one. So let's go ahead and release unimportant for Amanda. Okay, so I'm getting that released. All right, Nancy's got some shoulder pain. Let's see. So I'm getting there's a trapped emotion that's playing a role. And with trapped emotions, the older you get, if there are emotional things that you haven't dealt with, oftentimes the harder it gets, because there's layers of issues that you've tapped down. And even though I've been doing this work for quite a long time, since 2009, I have things I've tapped down too. And sometimes things don't come up until I dig them out or they're ready. So let's see. All right, Nancy, it's this one, I'm not really sure about it. It's the energy of being bewildered. Let me get an age, and maybe it'll make sense to you. But somehow it's related to your shoulder pain. And sometimes it's just one of the layers. So let me get an age. You're like 22. So 21, 22, 23. And sometimes that age is sort of a bewildering age because you're pretty young. You think you know everything, but most people don't. They just fake it. And some people, especially if they've, finished college or they didn't go to college and are trying to figure out what they want to be when they grow up, sometimes it can be a bewildering time. So let's go ahead and release that. So focusing in on releasing and removing the energy of bewildered for Nancy. And harmonious and serene is next, and then NA Tarot. Okay, so I'm getting that released. All right, so we're going to do harmonious and serene, and then we will do our next healing pulse. So harmonious, she is searching for a really good, financially secure job that comes with all the really nice things, good boss, good coworkers, doing things that you really enjoy doing. So let's see. So, because we've worked on this a few times for harmonious. So let me just check and see. Are we better releasing the negative or increasing the positive? And the main reason I'm asking this is because we've done this a few times. We're going to focus on the positive harmonious, just because I know we've worked on this before. Yeah, because I'm looking at June, July. So we're going to focus, because especially when you take away negative things, sometimes it's more important to then instill and increase something positive. Ooh, it's the word flowing. I like that. All right. So, as with releasing, there's a number of ways to release. As with instilling, there are a number of ways to increase. And so, especially something like this, sometimes I do things just entirely mental. Other times, I like to do a physical thing. And so, think about if you want to instill flowing, I think of putting it in your heart, because with your heart beating, it flows and it has energy and love. And I think if everything flows, it will attract exactly the right thing. So I think I want you to have a little ball, and I want you to think about energy that's flowing. Great harmony. So this is always already resonating with you. So put in your hand the energy of flowing, and let's add some love and some abundance. Add a little bit of fun, because work can't all be work. So fill your hand up, and once your hand gets heavy, and any of you can do this with your keyword, so fill that up. Once it gets full, I want you to put it in your heart and imagine it spreading throughout your entire body. And just allowing the energy to expand and flow. And just breathe that in. Okay, that was a nice one, Harmonious. I'm really hoping in September you come back and say, I have the most amazing job. All right. So, Serene, you're going to be last, and then we're going to do our next healing pulse. And then when we come back, we're going to do NA Tarot, Pearl, and Colette. So Serene wants to work on healing to her body. So let's see. So I do get there's a trapped emotion that's playing a role. I hope you do Harmonious Eye. I think that would be fabulous. All right, so it's the energy of smothered. Serene, let me get an age. And oftentimes when smothered comes up, it's a person, but sometimes it's a situation. So just be open. And when you think about the age that I'm going to tell you in just a moment, I want you to see what pops into your head. So I'm getting like age 34. So somewhere 33, 34, 35, you felt pretty smothered. So let's go ahead and release that energy of being sort of oppressed. All right, so focusing in on smothered. Okay, so that did release. Okay. So next we're going to do our second healing pulse. And so with this, if you have just come in, I'll give you instructions. If you were here for the first one, think about, do you want to receive the energy in the same place? Or do you need to adjust your hands? Because especially if it's something physical, like pain does have a tendency to move. And if I'm working with you directly, after the first healing pulse, I ask, is it the same? Did it move? Did it lessen? And if it moved, then I want you to adjust where your hands are going. Or if it's something emotional, think about, do I want my hands in the same place or do I need to sort of shift where I put them? And so with this, with anything physical, that's where you're going to want to place your hands. Now, if it's somewhere that you can't reach, imagine that you've got both hands exactly there where you want to send the energy. If it's something emotional, think about where you feel that emotion. For example, like when I'm anxious, for me, it's usually in the pit of my stomach most of the time. And so that's where I'd place my hands. So next, I want you to rub your hands together, get that energy flowing. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands on yours. And most importantly, just allow the energy to flow. With each breath in, you are allowing the energy to flow. With each breath, the energy goes a little deeper, a little further. With each breath out, imagine you are releasing, open, and allowing. Okay, so that was healing pulse number 2. And as I said, usually healing pulse 2 and 3 is more powerful than healing pulse number 1, because number 1, you're sort of getting used to the energy flowing. All right, so NA Tarot, headaches. I can totally relate. Lately, I've even gone more traditional medicine because my alternative stuff is not working as effectively. So I'm trying to do, the nice thing about the work I do, it's very complementary to traditional medicine, but I really am not loving the traditional medicine. So let's see. So I am getting that there's a negative trapped emotions that's contributing to this. It's not the only thing. Wouldn't that be nice if it was just one thing? So let's see what it is. And it's the energy of being shocked. Let me get an age and see if this makes sense to you. Wow, you were only 7, so just a little one. So 6, 7, 8. So somewhere in there, something happened that you were shocked. Keep in mind, sometimes something that shocks you as a 7-year-old is much different than something that would shock you as an adult. Or sometimes you overhear something or witness something, and because you're such a young age, you don't really understand what it is. So just be open and give yourself some grace. But let's focus on releasing the energy of being shocked. So hone into that being shocked in a tarot, and let's pull that out. So we're going to release and remove. And also what I do when I release and remove, I imagine the energy going either back to the central sun, or sometimes it'll go to source. But I imagine that energy being recycled and reborn into something really super positive. Okay, I'm getting that released. All right. Pearl, Colette, and Afatha are next. So Pearl, you've got quite a few things. Let's see what we're going to work on for Pearl. So we're going to work on Pearl's skin. It's the energy of minimize Pearl. Let me get an age. Wow, in a tarot. Thank you for confirming that. My dates have been pretty accurate lately. I don't always understand what it means, but it looks like what you experienced fit what came up. So I'm hoping that helps. Sometimes with aging comes different energies, and as I said, sometimes emotions can cause things too. All right, so Pearl, I'm getting age 4 minimized. Around age 19, Pearl. So something 18, 19, 20. And, that's sort of a tough age too, because, you're not always taken very seriously at that age. So let's hone in on the energy of feeling minimized. And then we're going to release and remove that. Releasing and removing. Okay, I'm getting that released. All right, so Colette has trouble with nausea, sinus headaches due to mold. So especially with that, I'm going to see what's going to be the most helpful thing to you. All right, so we're going to focus on the nausea. So I did check and see if there's anything we could do, like to focus on improving your immune system, but I'm not getting that. I asked about focusing on the mold, not getting that. So I'm getting focus on the nausea is the most important thing for me to help you with. Because I bet you've got a whole list of other things you're doing. So this is the most important thing for me to help you with right now. Oops. So this one, I don't know if I've had this emotion come up, but it's just the emotion of down, DOWN. And so I'm getting this around age 26. So 25, 26, 27. Somehow this is playing a role and connects to the nausea. So let's focus in and release. So focusing in, releasing, and removing just that being down. And especially with this situation, it can really cause you to be down on a regular basis. So I think it's good to take a layer out of this. All right, so I'm getting that released. And faith unbroken. You've got a few things that you've listed, so thank you for that. Once I get to you, we'll focus on which one, unless we can do all three as a group. All right, so Ephatha, who had really, let me find what you wrote because it made me smile. Okay, getting closer. All right, so here's what Ephatha said. I want to give gratitude for my son, who's doing much better. So grateful he feels well enough to play his guitar tonight. Because when we met in July, July 1, he was having some tough times. So I want to focus on the gratitude and increase the gratitude because I do feel it's sort of almost karmic. If you can increase your gratitude, it will draw more to you. And I think it makes you stronger. So we're going to focus on the positive for Ephatha. Oh, it's a nice one. It's the word trust. And I think that's a lot of what illness and sickness is. It's about trust. And so with this, I want you to gather up trust in your hands, Ephatha, and anyone else who has an emotion or an energy you want to instill within you. Fill up your hands with that energy. Feel how heavy your hands get. Send it to your son too. Once your hands get heavy, I want you to put it in your heart and just imagine it expanding out. Oh, and it's Colette's birthday. Happy birthday, Colette. Lots of healing being sent. Thank you. It's very important. All right. So, Susan, We're going to have you next, and then we'll do our third healing pulse. And then when we come back after the healing pulse, we're going to do Angel Knight, Jeffrey, and Lisa. All right. So with this third healing pulse, if you don't feel like you need it in the place that you've sent it before, you can pick a totally new place. So every once in a while, I'll tell someone, send it to your third eye, see what happens. It's sort of a cool thing. So I want you to think about where you want to send the energy. Rub your hands together. Father. That is pretty cool. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands on yours. And then be open and allowing the energy to flow. Just breathe in deeper. I used to have a teacher that would say, the deeper the breathing, the deeper the healing. And that makes sense. As someone who does a lot of shallow breathing, it's not the most healthy way to breathe. So breathe that energy in and release what doesn't belong. So my first couple pulses that I did, I'm getting tingling in the hands now. Sometimes it sort of builds where I don't feel it at first, and then it just all of a sudden, it's just like sort of wow, sort of electrified. Okay, so that was the third healing pulse. Let me know how you did. So after we finish the individual healing, I'll probably do a couple group negative beliefs, and then we will end with aura strengthening, which is sort of a key thing. And then I'll answer any questions people have. Usually I'm supposed to do a little commercial to promote my business, but it's summer. My priority is more just giving back tonight. But if you want a session, my website's on the page. And if you don't know exactly what I do, I sort of do this only on a more amped up level. The things I do on a mini healing are things that I can help as many people as I can. Most sessions we use between 3 and 7 different tools, anything from energy work to more layers of trapped emotions. Sometimes I work with entities or offensive energies. So it all just sort of depends. I'm always adding new things. All right, so let's see. So Susan's got neck and shoulder pain right side. So I'm going to see, because oftentimes neck and shoulder is one issue. Sometimes physical things I do separately, but these I'm going to do this together. And I'm getting that there is a negative trapped emotion that is playing at least part of a role in issues. It's a word. I don't know if I've ever used it before. I've only read it. Let me get an age first, then we'll talk about it. It's the word muddled, muddled, and it's from around age 18. So I'm going to look it up because I am not sure officially. So here's what the dictionary says. To mix together, especially confusedly. Oh, there is a muddler when it comes to drinks. It's not the most helpful, though. This needs to be more emotional. Mixed up, confused, or disordered. Anyone else, do you use the word muddled? You might feel muddled when you wake up from a long nap. And here's another one. Confused, vague, or disordered can describe thinking, ideas, a person, or a state of affairs. So this is around 18. So 17, 18, 19, Susan. So let's go ahead. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Sometimes it might. Sometimes it's like, I'm not really sure. But let's hone in to muddle and release it. So releasing and removing muddled from Susan. And that did release. All right. Angel Knight, you are next. You've got some stress going on. So let's see what comes up with that. Getting the energy of being discouraged. Let me get an age for you. You are welcome, Susan. So I'm getting this event was from around about age 21, Angel Knight. So somewhere 20, 21, 22. So let's focus on releasing and removing that because it's sort of adding a layer to your stress. So releasing and removing discouraged. Okay. Jeffrey, you're next. So Jeffrey wants to work on some sinus stuff. And it says MAD, MAD. Let's get an age for that. You're like 6. So 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, Jeffrey. So sometimes I'm like, okay, what does a 6-year-old get mad at? Is it like 6-year-old stuff? Or is it, like serious friends or school or family stuff? I'm getting this was sort of a legitimate thing. So let's tune in and release the energy of that anger, of being mad. Releasing and removing mad. Okay, I'm getting that released. So next we've got Lisa, Marina, and Faith Unbroken. So Lisa has some chronic pain in her muscular skeleton system. So let's see. I'm getting emotions are playing a role, but it's more than that too. But let's see what we can do to help bring a layer off of this. And it's the energy of clingy. That's sort of unique. Sort of like smothered, only a little different. Let me get an age and see if this makes sense to you. Getting like around 28. So 27, 28, 29. So with this, when I think about smothered versus clingy, I think of someone more physical, constantly touching, hovering, being sort of in your personal space. And it's almost to the point where it's distracting you because, especially if you have gut feelings and intuition, if you've got constantly someone in your space that you don't want them to be that close, it can be super distracting. I could see that affecting your body. So let's go ahead and release and remove the energy of that clinginess. So releasing and removing. So Angel Night, I think we can do good luck, bad luck. I know that's one of your favorite ones. So releasing and removing clingy. So I did release. Okay, so Marina's got some tummy troubles. Let's see what comes up. It's the energy of paranoid, Marina. Let's see what age this came from. You were like 5. So sometimes when things come up like this, I just sort of accept it. But sometimes based on age and the energy of the emotion, I think, is that valid? Because when I think of a 5-year-old, typically they're not paranoid. But so then I ask, is this someone else's that has affected you when you were 5? And I do get yes. So let's go ahead and release this energy, because even though it wasn't yours, it affected you, and that energy is still sort of with you. So let's hone in to releasing being paranoid around 5, because especially as a 5-year-old, even though it wasn't yours, it sure felt like it was. So honing in and releasing and removing paranoid for Marina. Okay, so that did release. All right, Faith Unbroken. She had issues with head, neck, and back pain. So let's see, is there something that's causing all of this, or if we need to focus on one for the first time? No, it looks like we're better focusing on one for now. We're going to focus on the neck. So looking for a trapped emotion that's contributing to neck pain for now. You are welcome, Marina. I really hope that helps. Getting the energy of being misused. Let me get an age. See if that makes sense, Faith Unbroken. Getting around age 12, so you're just little. 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. So let's tune in to feeling misused. Oh, excuse me. Let's release and remove the energy of being misused. Okay, so I am getting that misused has been released. I'm just checking to see. So yes, we're going to do good luck, bad luck button. And so with this, the premise is you want your good luck to always be on. But sometimes your good luck button gets turned off. And then there is bad luck. And sometimes, because the bad luck should be off, sometimes the bad luck button gets turned on. You are very welcome, Faith Unbroken. And so an example of this, so my friend had a car accident. And so with her good luck button was on. Her bad luck button was also on. And so with this, the bad luck was on, which contributed to her having a car accident. The good luck was on, which luckily she didn't get hurt. Her car had minimal damage. So if anyone else has any examples of good luck and bad luck buttons, let me know. So if you want me to check and see if your good luck and bad luck button, what their status is, if you want to put a 1 in the comments, in the chat, I will check and see where we were at with that. Just writing things down, getting ready. Oh, good, Lisa. Sometimes it takes some pondering. There are other times that sometimes things just don't come up. I do have a client that when she washes dishes and she's standing there at the sink, thoughts will pop in and she'll know. All right, so harmonious. Faith. Serene. Pearl. Angel Knight, and I'm going to add Jeffrey to that. Susan. Fafa. Seems like the longer we do this, though, that the less flipping people need, which is good. I think part of it's awareness. Nancy. LMB. Yep, I will add NA Tarot. Amy. Okay, so here's who I got. If I missed you, let me know. So Harmonious, Faith, Serene, Pearl, Angel Knight, Jeffrey, Susan, Empatha, or Afatha, Nancy, LMB, NA Tarot, Amy. Just making sure. Marina, I'm going to add you, but you might have left because it's so early in the morning, but just in case. All right, so I'm going to go through and check. And then what happens if anyone's good luck button is turned off, we turn it back on. If your bad luck is on, because the bad luck should be off. The good luck should be on. If your flip-flop, we'll make sure it's right. If it seems like month after month things keep flipping the wrong way, that's a sign you probably should have a session and find out why. All right, so I'm going through the good luck. So harmonious, faith, serene, pearl, angel knight, Jeffrey, Susan, Alfatha, Nancy, LMB, N.A. Tarot, Amy, Marina. Wow. Oh, I'm going to add Lisa. So I did add Marina. I'm adding Colette and Lisa. All right, so Wonder of Wonders. Everybody, oh, and Amanda. Everybody's good luck button is on. That's cool. So here's all the people that I checked. Harmonious, Faith, Serene, Pearl, Angel Knight, Jeffrey, Susan, Amanda, Afatha, Nancy, LMB, N.A. Tarot, Amy, Marina, Lisa, and Colette. And so next, I'm going to check people's bad luck button because this should be totally turned off. All right, so bad luck. Serene. Okay. I just have Jeffrey. We need to flip his bad luck off. So we're going to tune into Jeffrey, and Angel Knight, his mom, can help with this too. So we're just going to set the intention that Jeffrey's bad luck button is turned off. Okay, so that's turned off. So that's pretty good. So for bad luck, these people were all off. Harmonious, Faith, Serene, Pearl, Good Night, Susan, Amanda, Afatha, Nancy, LMB, N.A. Tarot, Amy, Marina, Lisa, and Colette. And now we've flipped it, so Jeffrey is also off too. So wonderful. So let's do our aura strengthening. So this is something that you can do on your own. You are welcome, Harmonious. So I always encourage you to work on strengthening your own personal energies. With this, you can pull in healing pulse energy if you want. It's all about intention. And so the benefit of a stronger aura is it helps repel negativity and it makes it easier to be more positive. So I want you to rub your hands together. If you're going to pull in healing pulse energy, this is the time to do it with your intention. And then start sending out energy. So imagine that outer layer of your aura gets more strong. Imagine it getting thicker, more protective. But also, you've got this bubble around you. Is there anything positive that you need? So like for me, I think tomorrow I want to wake up full of energy and positivity. So I think I'm going to put that in my bubble. So not only am I going to focus on projecting being energetic and positive, but I'm going to help repel negativity away from me. So just send that out. Usually I add a hint of reflectivity too. so that if someone's spewing some negativity, it bounces back to them. Now, you don't want to be in a total mirror-like situation because people will run into you. You don't want to be driving where they can't see you. So that's why I say a hint of reflectivity. And if you've been playing around with the healing pulse energies, when you do this, you might feel even more tingling in your hands. Okay, so that was the aura strengthening. So let me know how you did tonight. I know a few of you have commented about situations that matched up with the ages and situation. But let me know how the healing pulses did with you, or if you have any questions about tools or other things that I do. This summer I've been playing around more with hypnosis, experimenting with something that I call a why session, and I've also been working with someone that's going to help me do surrogate sessions for people that have trouble getting hypnotized. And we focus on QHHT, which is Dolores Cannon. Oh, there's Sheree. Nice to see you, Sheree. Nancy, you are very welcome. Oh, Serene, you're very welcome. Pearl, glad you felt a lot of warmth. That's nice. So I'm always here on the first of the month. Sometimes I add in a second one because sometimes I miss you guys. Other times I'm just sort of tired or busy with things, but I do try and add a second one. So if you put your notifications on for YouTube, or if we're friends on Facebook, everything's under Healing by Summer for both accounts. Oh, Serene had a release and pain in her stomach and heart. Wonderful. I hope it holds. Sometimes there's another layer, and stress and other things can trigger that. Sometimes it doesn't. So I never know. Oh, Lisa, thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Well, keep an eye on things. And if I don't see you September 1, which seems like a long ways away, but it's not, maybe I will see you sooner. It all just sort of depends. But have a fabulous Friday night. Bye. All my doggies are sleeping. So thank you for spending your time with me.